What's going on, guys? ChillSFM here, taking a look at Shadow Lugia in the Open Master League. Guys, I did invest in my own because I wanted to try it out, and for good reason. We're gonna hop over to PvPoke real quick just to compare Shadow Lugia to the regular Lugia, to kind of give you an idea of should you invest in your own as well, and then we'll take a look at some of the battles with it as well. Let's go ahead and hop over there, take a quick look. All right, so looking at PvPoke, here's what I got going on. At the top here, I have regular Lugia, it's the Hundo. In the second one, I have Shadow Lugia, also the Hundo. And in this third slot, I have a worst case scenario Lugia, Shadow Lugia. It's going to be IV's 10-10-10. However, I do have it best buddied. So if you want to invest in your horrible one and you want to take the time to actually best buddy it, this is what it's going to look at. On the right hand side here, I have the Master League meta according to PvPoke. And we're going to battle it out. This is in the one shield scenario. So if you want to do this yourself, you can take the time to look at individual matchups. What I'm really going to be looking at is just the end score here. So the win-loss record. You can see the regular Lugia in the one shield scenario goes 17, 15, and 1. However, the Shadow Hundo goes 21, 11, and 1. So actually a better win rate with a higher battle average here, battle rating here. And even the worst case scenario one goes 20, 13, and 0. Very impressive. Now, what I was really curious about is how much of this has to do with baiting. I'm going to turn off baiting for all three of these Lugias, and we're going to battle it out again. You can see the regular Lugia drops down to 14, 19, and 0, while the Shadow Lugia still stays with a positive win rate, 17, 16, and 0. And the worst case scenario one does drop slightly lower with 16, 17, and 0. Really nice to see, and we can take a look at some of these other shield scenarios as well. You can see the regular Lugia actually does do better in the zeros, just that extra bulk helps it get to additional attacks. So it goes 21, 11, and 1, whereas the other ones get 19 wins. But the two shields, this is what's really crazy. And now, I know it's hard to use two shields on Lugia being bulky already, but if you do, Shadow goes 22, 11, and 0 without baiting. That's just straight sky attack against everything. 22, 11, and 0. Worst case scenario one goes 20, 13, and 0, whereas the regular Lugia goes 18, 15, and 0. So I would say the Shadow is at least as good based on these numbers. But you do, of course, miss out on some bulk. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these battles, see how it actually played out for me. Let's get it going. All right, so into the first one. Up against Eastside Pastor, a very talented battler, does stream occasionally on Twitch. I'll link his Twitch in the description down below. Leading Ho-Oh, we have our Shadow Lugia on the lead here. I did get lucky and get a pretty good IV one. I do have the Best Buddy ribbon on, but mine's still only at level 50. I haven't grinded the last few XL candies, so I'm just running it at level 50 right now. Anyways, we're going to go for the Sky Attack here, and it is going to grab his shield. Out comes an Yveltal. We're going to be swapping out into Mamoswine. Let me tell y'all, this video is going to make you a believer in Mamoswine if my last video did not. Mamoswine goes crazy. So we're going to be throwing at proper timing here. I'm guessing Eastside must be running Hurricane because he didn't build up to the Focus Blast. We're going to be able to take out the Yveltal. Out comes Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh does have to throw immediately. Otherwise, I'm going to make it to another Avalanche, which would be lethal from this range. So Sacred Fire comes through. I'm actually going to bring in my own Ho-Oh. I do have a Sky Attack banked on Lugia. It's not going to quite KO from here. So we're going to go ahead and come in with our Ho-Oh. We're going to not play for CMP, and I will be shielding up the potential Brave Bird right here. It is the Brave Bird, so that's great. I can throw one more Incinerate, build up to 100. We're going to go for the Sacred Fire. It will be lethal from this range, and I don't really want to drop my defense just yet. We take out his Lugia. In the back, going to be a Rayquaza. I actually should have been expecting a dragon. I know Eastside is running a Dragon to Legend challenge. Rayquaza is going to come in. I'm going to throw up a shield. It is the Breaking Swipe, and I'm going to be throwing the Brave Bird here. Now, he does no shield this, and then I make a bit of a misplay. I come in here with my Lugia. I could have just Dragon Tailed down. Easy win, right? The Dragon Tails from Shadow Lugia don't do enough. We could have taken out the Rayquaza. I throw the Sky Attack. Yeah, shield. That was a misplay. Look, you can see Rayquaza barely survives here. So now, if this is an Ancient Power, we lose this. Luckily, it's only a Breaking Swipe. So Ho-Oh does hold on. We get the Incinerate down. That's going to be GG's. well played. So little misplay on my part, but Shadow Lugia definitely did help out in that battle. All right, up against a Nightmare lead with Yveltal. We're going to be swapping out into Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is actually a really good answer for Yveltal, just because we can tank any one move from this, and they can't comfortably tank anything from my Ho-Oh. We're going to be throwing the Sacred Fire. Of course, again, just not wanting to drop my defense. Sacred Fire going to come through, and you can see, yeah, it just does so much. So actually, we can even tank a second move, especially since we got that attack drop. Even without it, we could tank a second move. We're going to just go ahead and let this go. It seems like they are weak to Ho-Oh, but I also don't really want to give up shields. Coming out with a Charm Primarina. Very interesting pick. Not a lot of people running Charmers right now. Decides to use a shield there and come in with Zekrom. A little bit surprised Zekrom didn't come in earlier, but I'm happy to see it here because now I can align it onto my Mamoswine. I can eat any one move. This is not going to be an Outrage. They didn't build up to Outrage. I expected it to be Crunch, but actually they bait with the Fusion Bolt. Interesting play, but here's where Shadow Lugia is going to be really good. We're going to be able to chip away with those Powder Snows, leave with basically back-to-back Avalanches. We can come in, shield once, and farm all the way down right here. Look at that. Beautiful. We farm all the way down. Now we can easily make it to the Aeroblast just to grab the final shield from this Primarina. And high horsepower is going to do a ton to Primarina. Maybe not one shot from here, but even the double resistant Dragon Tails are at least doing something. So it should be putting it pretty close to high horsepower range. We actually make it to a Sky Attack as well. So Sky Attack is going to be putting them for sure into range for high horsepower. And we're just going to be able to throw it here. That's going to be GG's. Well played to my opponent. Yeah, now that I'm watching this back, I really don't know why they didn't come with Zekrom against the Ho-Oh. I'm definitely happy. Get a little power right there, right at the end. All right, into the next one. Shadow Lugia into Giratina. This is a matchup where I do really like the Shadow because these Dragon Tails do a lot to the Giratina. You can win the twos, just going like just straight Dragon Tail against Giratina if you properly shield the Shadow Balls, of course. They do go straight Shadow Ball. That's really good for me. I'm going to go for the Sky Attack. If they don't shield this, it will be putting them very low, which they do no shield it. Puts them nearly into the red. They actually are going to make another Shadow Ball. So I do decide to catch it on my Ho-Oh. Didn't really want to give up my second shield. Ho-Oh can tank this pretty comfortably. If they have something like a Kyogre, we have to bait it out. This team is very weak to Kyogre, by the way. I don't think I've beat a Kyogre with this team. So it's a team that I was able to climb with because I haven't seen the things that it's really weak to. Not a perfect team by any means, but it's the Pokemon that I have, and they work well together for the most part. All right, so Zacian is definitely something we don't love to see, especially when they're running Wild Charge. I'm gonna actually come in with Mamoswine here. They have a lot of energy. The chances of them getting to double close combat's very high. I'm gonna have to try to catch one, but instead they're running Play Rough, so that makes it way better for me. I can let them throw 3 more Snarls. Somehow that was alignment. It shouldn't have been. There was some kind of lag at some point. But anyways, they decided to no-shield the Avalanche, which works out pretty well for me. Out comes an Excadrill. If y'all have heard me talk about Mamo, I love this, man. I love this matchup. Mamo just wins this. We're going to go ahead and just throw the Avalanche here. I could actually just throw the next Avalanche and win. I decided to get fancy with it. I want to show off Shadow Lugia a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and catch. We catch the drill run. Does absolutely nothing. They have to throw again before we make it to the Aeroblast. It lost track of my energy. Now they're going to be throwing the Rock Slide right here. Which does actually take out Shadow Lugia, but it's fine. We got the Avalanche ready to go. Probably could have reached for the high horsepower because of Duran's not going to take out my Mamoswine from here, but Avalanche is enough regardless, so GG's. Well played. All right, into the next one. Lugia into another Ho-Oh. Seen a lot of Ho-Ohs lately, actually. This one does play out a little bit differently than the first one because they go up to 5 Incinerates, and I'm going to actually throw on alignment here. I'm able to get the Sky Attack off without them potentially debuffing my attack from Sacred Fire. So this is going to be the Sacred Fire, and they do not get the attack drop, which is really nice. All right, I'm going to throw the next Sky Attack here. That should have been proper timing right there. 9 turns for 3 Dragon Tails versus 10 turns for 2 Incinerates. I decided to actually let Lugia go. Lugia at this health is going to be able to do a lot, but my back 2 Pokemon with energy both do really well. We're going to come in with my own Ho-Oh. I am going to shield up what is likely going to be a Brave Bird. Actually bait with the Sacred Fire again, looking for that attack drop, and they do get it. That's fine though. I have 100 energy. They're going to come out with Zekrom. We're going to throw a Brave Bird and dip. Brave Bird, of course, resisted. Sacred Fire also resisted. Coming in with Mamoswine in the back, it's going to be a Dialga. All right. I know my opponent thinks that their win con is that Zekrom, so I'm going to full send the high horsepower right here. Doesn't connect. Oh, it actually doesn't. That shield really surprised me. So at this point, my win con, I think, is with Ho-Oh. It's no longer with Mamoswine. I just don't have enough HP left on Mamoswine. I'm going to come in with my Ho-Oh. I do throw immediately here. I thought that they would survive this Sacred Fire and I'd get 1 or 2 more Incinerates. They actually go down. Out comes the Zekrom. They're still at half HP. They do give me a full Incinerate though. That's really nice. That's really big right here. They go for the Crunch. I'm going to build up to 100 energy. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird. Both Sacred Fire and Brave Bird do the exact same amount of damage, by the way. Brave Bird's just cheaper, so I go for the Brave Bird, and it takes him out. That's going to be GG's, hopefully, to my opponent. Definitely a close one. Definitely one I was hyped after I won. All right, Mamoswine lead. Tough lead for my Lugia. We're going to be swapping out into Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is just normally my safe swap. I don't think either of them are very good safe swaps, to be honest. Just because of there is Giratina, there is Kyogre that exist, and they both struggle against both of them. So it's what it is though. We throw out the Giratina here. Well, I guess, yeah, Mamo doesn't struggle against Giratina, but Zacian, things like that, definitely struggles against. My opponent makes a bit of a misplay here. They go for the Ominous Wind, which Ho-Oh survives. We're going to be able to get off one more move. I go for the Sacred Fire. This is a little bit cheeky. Like, I'm just as bad as my opponent in the last game. Looking for that attack drop. And we get it. Beautiful. So I come in with Lugia. We're going to Dragon Tail this thing down. You can see the Dragon Tail's actually doing a lot of damage right here. I mean, I guess we did see that before as well. They go for the Ominous Wind. And we do get the farm down. Beautiful. Out comes their Mamoswine. I'm just going to go for the Sky Attack. Shadow Lugia. The Sky Attack hits pretty hard into most things. Unfortunately, they were pretty much at full health. So it doesn't really put them in Powder Snow down range. And that's what I was going for. It was kind of just a wasted Sky Attack. Either way, I'm going to protect my Mamo here. I'm going to be throwing the Avalanche. Not exactly sure where they are at on energy. They're going to protect their Mamo. Tell me that they likely have a Dialga in the back. So I am going to go ahead and throw up my own shield here. I'm going to overfarm by 1. Throw the Avalanche. Just happy that they didn't catch there, right? If it's a Dialga in the back, which it is, then this game's just over. All we gotta do is make it to the high horsepower. This doesn't one-shot, but it's close enough. Yeah, I mean, come on. I actually come in just to finish it off with Shadow Lugia, just to flex a little bit. So able to beat the Mamoswine lead. GG's. All right, Lugia into Dialga, shiny Dialga. Not the best matchup. It's not bad, honestly, but you do need to land the Aero Blast. It's not one that you can go straight Sky Attack. We throw out a Shadow U2 with our Ho-Oh. Very cool to see. Very cool to see. Side Strike coming through. We're going to no-shield that. There's no one move that one-shots Ho-Oh. And yeah, I could have shielded that one and then hoped for the attack drop. But this felt a little bit more comfortable. I go for the Brave Bird here. Just because they're allowing me to get off a move before they throw their energy. They are going to actually be able to cycle cut me down, which is really scary. A Shadow Mewtwo with this much energy is terrifying. I am praying that they blind throw a Shadow Ball to waste some energy. And that I can Powder Snow this down. It's going to actually be a Flamethrower though. So I kind of came into the worst matchup of the two. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and shoot up the second Flamethrower and we're going to farm all the way down. So we do barely get the farm down. I told y'all this video is going to make y'all a believer in Mamo. More than anything else, it's going to make you a believer in Mamo, and you're about to see why. They try to get sneaky there. They come in with Dialga and immediately come in with Lugia. This game's over. This game's over. Mamo just has too much energy. 2 Avalanches will KO even a regular Lugia. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that I'm ahead on energy at all time. My opponent sees the writing on the wall, you could say, and top lefts. All right, into the next one. A Dragonite lead. I misplay this one. I do misplay. I come out with dialga, I come out with Mamoswine. Here's why I say this is a misplay. Mamoswine's very good against Dragonite. Lugia is very good against Dragonite. Ho-Oh is not that good against Dragonite. But Ho-Oh is pretty decent against dialga. So I should have really came in with Ho-Oh here. And then they no shield my avalanche. Really good call. Really good call. I should have just gone straight high horsepower. We win the ones going straight high horsepower. But actually works out pretty all right because we do make it to this third avalanche. We're going to be able to get the second shield off my opponent. I'm going to come in with Ho-Oh knowing that they're not at the Draco just yet. So as long as this isn't a Thunder, this is a good play. It is going to be an Iron Head. Out comes the Dragonite. We're going to be able to Brave Bird it. I was a little bit nervous that I actually threw on CMP here. It ends up not being CMP though, which is really nice. So I come in with my Shadow Lugia, and there's a Solgaleo in the back. This is a great showcase of what Shadow Lugia can do though. We're up a shield. We're going to throw the Aeroblast as soon as we get it because Aeroblast is just a way better move and they're out of shields. Look how much this does. Even resisted. Puts them into the yellow, well into the yellow. They're going to be throwing their big move here, which is going to be Flamethrower. We survive it still. Even after the Psychic Fangs and all these Fire Spins, and we even make it to a Sky Attack. So we just straight up won the Zero Shield against a Solgaleo, which should be kind of walling us. So out comes Dragonite. This is still kind of iffy, to be honest, because I need to get this Brave Bird off. And I'm thinking I'm a legendary. Surely I win a CMP tie against Dragonite. They have back-to-backs here for sure, and we lose CMP. Like, okay. Please, Ho-Oh, tell me that all this invested dust, all these XL candies was worth it. And yes, Ho-Oh holds on. We're going to be able to get this Brave Bird off. And that's going to be GG's. Well played to my opponent. Let's go. And I got one more battle, I believe. Up against another Mamoswine lead. Mamo kind of making a resurgence, which I understand why. I love Mamo. Mamo's a beast. They're staying in here. They didn't build up to the Stone Edge. I can definitely tank an Avalanche. We're going to go ahead and just do that. We're going to tank an Avalanche, see what they want to come out with. It's going to be a Lugia. Going to be throwing the Sacred Fire immediately because that is good timing. 5 turns for an Incinerate. They did 2 Dragon Tails, which is 6 turns. They only get 1 free turn. Now I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. I'm hoping, since I did drop their attack, that they cannot Dragon Tail me down after the Brave Bird. It's going to be really close. Gonna be really close, and it looked like we were gonna make it. So they do end up throwing their energy here, which is nice. That just means that my Shadow Lugia is not going to get Aeroblasted near as quickly. We're still going to get Aeroblasted, but we're going to be able to chip away at them and have some energy before that happens. Aeroblast comes through. I decided to actually do one more Dragon Tail. They do get the attack boost, but I come in with my Mamoswine. Out comes the dialga. We're up a shield. We got 2 shields. We're going to go ahead and just full send it. Let's see what happens. And it connects. Beautiful. We get the farm down here. We don't even have to use the shield. We have a half health. Why did I say it like that? Half health Mamoswine. Into their Mamoswine. We're up a shield. We're in a great situation here. Now, there is a way that we lose this. The way that we lose this is if we use our shields here and then they catch on Lugia. And then they're able to avalanche my Lugia. So we're not going to allow that to happen. Instead, we're going to go ahead and just eat that avalanche, throw this Sky Attack, knowing it's enough to take out their Mamoswine. Since we're Shadow, right? Normal Lugia, that wouldn't have KO'd. At this point, we could honestly just Dragon Tail down if we wanted to shield, or we could save our shields and we could just throw the Sky Attack. And that's going to be GG's. Well played. So Shadow Lugia closing it out right there. Beautifully done. All right, so my honest opinion after running it, I think that both are about equal. I honestly do. I think that you probably need to be a little bit better at baits to run the regular one. The Shadow one can go straight Sky Attack against a few more things. I think whichever one you want, man. If you have a good Shadow Lugia and you want to build it, I don't regret it by any means. And I don't really have bulky Pokemon yet for the Master League. I don't regret it. I think it's a good investment. But I think either one's good. I don't think there's necessarily the one that's like a clear winner over the other one. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members for your support. Until next time, this is Choseph, and reminding you to always keep pushing forward.